In a world where every structure tells a story, one name has been crafting narratives of success for 100 years, C.E. Gleason Constructors. For a century, we've been the general contractors of opportunity, the builders of dreams. From retail developments to state-of-the-art industrial complexes, real estate developments, and senior living communities. Our legacy is defined by the diverse portfolios of projects we've brought to life. With a commitment to craftsmanship, we've transformed visions into reality. Here's to 100 years. Let us help you expand your business. C.E. Gleason Constructors, building visions and turning dreams into reality.
Welcome to Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond, a show that explores the people, players, places, and most importantly, communities that make up pickleball in Michigan and around the world. Here's your host, Tony Conley.
Welcome back to Pickleball, Michigan and Beyond. I'm your host, Tony Conley. Thanks so much for joining us today. We've got a great guest. And although she comes from the land down under where University of Michigan happens to reside, we still am happy to talk to her about pickleball. Leslie White is the owner and founder of Wolverine Pickleball. She's going to tell us a lot more about that organization, about pickleball in general. Leslie, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's great to talk with you. And I recently played pickleball at Jesse Stipkak's gym in DeWitt Township.
Yes.
And she told me to say hi and that she loves you and that you're awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I love her too. She's great. I love going out and visiting with her. And I don't get out there enough, but I've been out a couple times, but I have not been out to her new courts.
Well, it's amazing what they've done. The floor is new. She's got new court dividers. They've painted. It looks awesome. And it didn't look bad before, but she just kind of upgraded it. So it looks sweet now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, let's get right into it, Leslie. Tell us a little bit about Wolverine Pickleball. How did this all start? You know what? And before we get there, let's take you back a little bit. Take us back from high school to where you are now, especially in your athletic career.
So growing up, both my parents were collegiate athletes, and so we just grew up being a sports family. We all played. My dad and my mom introduced us to pretty much every sport. Primarily, we played a lot of tennis when I was young. My sister ended up playing at Michigan State for a little bit. And then I kind of headed over into volleyball, played a lot of volleyball before I discovered pickleball. And we did skiing, we did basketball, we did everything. We just were very sports oriented. Mm-hmm. And my dad was the one who was a racquetball player, primarily tennis, everything. And he kept telling me to try pickleball. And I was like, Dad, I'm a volleyball player, So he said, no, it's fun, you'll like it. And so he finally, I bit the bullet and I gave it a try. And I think I went home and watched about 8 hours of video. I mean, from the first time I played, my kids were like, Mom, what's for dinner? I'm like, nothing, I'm watching cereal. So as soon as I played, I thought I've got to learn everything I can about this sport.
Now, how long ago was that? When did you play your first time?
5 years ago.
Okay. What was that first game like?
Being a tennis background and a volleyball background, I was trying to hit it too hard a lot. I was actually top spinning, and I learned from an old school, one of those, Bob at the rec center kind of thing. And he kept saying, stop top spinning. It doesn't work in pickleball. And I was like, oh, okay. So I stopped. And then it obviously I play with a lot of top spin now. So that didn't last for too long. When I started, actually one of my first instructors, I looked all over. There weren't many pros out back then. And I found DJ Howard. And so I used to drive all the way out to Lansing and take lessons from DJ. And I started out at a 3.5 because I kind of believe that like the combination of volleyball and tennis is a nice combination to transition into pickleball, because it really is a lot like volleyball, the contact points and the direction of your hips and everything. I started out at 3.5, and DJ's really the one who brought me up to a 4.0 level.
Mm-hmm.
And then I eventually got to 4.5. And so
What's interesting about pickleball, as someone who has a sports background, as someone who has coached all types of youth sports, as well as high school basketball, and as someone who is a basketball fanatic,
mhm.
it seems like every person I meet who plays pickleball, they're fanatics about it. And it's not only playing it, but studying it, practicing it. Why is that for pickleball and not so much other sports, at least that you hear about when people
I
first start out?
I think it's because there's a lot more adrenaline rushes in pickleball than there are in any other sport. Um, because it's such a fast-paced game and the points build, and then when you get that put away or when you return, you reset someone else's attack. You just get so many adrenaline rushes. I really feel like that's part of the reason, the hook. And other than the obvious, like everybody can play it and it's intergenerational and all those things, I think it's that adrenaline that keeps people, and it's very strategic. So I think people learn it and then they start seeing patterns and they want to learn all the strategies. I love this the strategic side of the game.
And maybe that's what has hooked me because I guess I'm still a beginner. I've been playing for about 8 months, 9 months now. But initially, as I started playing, I was looking for people's weak spots. Can they hit backhand? Can they hit the forehand? Can they hit topspin? Can they hit can they hit a drive to them? Do they move well to get dinks? And so I think a lot of people think about things like that when they play.
Especially if you have a solid sports background, you're going to look for the strategy people. But I mean, the beautiful thing about pickleball is we get a lot of people in here who have hardly played any sports,
Mm-hmm.
and they're hooked as well. So it's just being active and the social part and everything else that comes with it.
And as someone who was a sand volleyball player, I still play a lot, but not as much as I used to. I do find pickleball, and you mentioned this earlier, to be very social, like sand volleyball is. Well, talk a little bit about that, if you would.
I mean, it is incredibly social. I mean, when I first started playing, all the people at the rec center they became my best friends. I mean, you go through different time periods in your life, and all your closest friends are obviously in the very beginning when your kids are little, are the parents of all the other kids. And then when your kids grow up and you sort of go through transition of like who you hang out with, that's the people now who I hang out with are all the pickleball people.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep your other friendships, of course, but the pickleball people tend to become your primary friend group. And I mean, there's like from here alone, it's so cute. Suzanne, who used to work for us, she's 22 years old, and she goes to knitting groups with our pickleball players. And I overheard her say she's going to play euchre with them. And they're like in their 50s and 60s, and she's hanging out with them like crazy. I love it. It's so great.
And I think that's something that maybe some folks don't understand, but how pickleball is really being appealing to more youth. As a matter of fact, Leslie, we're in the process of scheduling a interview with Anna Lee, the best pickleball player on the planet, who's 18. So I think that's another cool thing is all age ranges, all skills coming together, and then afterwards we go out to eat and have a cocktail or whatever.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Well, you got to do that over here because we have our cocktails here,
Mhm. Well, tell us a little bit about Wolverine Pickleball. Take us back to the beginning. How'd you get the idea? How'd you first build it, and where you are now?
So Christy and I met because our daughters played volleyball together, club volleyball. And
Christy, who are you referring
Christy
to?
Howden, she's the
Okay.
coach. Yeah.
Okay.
So Christy and I knew each other through our daughters playing travel volleyball, and she had seen I had played down in Saline near her because, of course, when I first started playing, we had to drive all over far to
Mhm.
find a court. There weren't courts around. So Christy had seen that I had posted that I was playing pickleball because, of course, when you first start playing, you check in and you're like playing pickleball, and so
Mhm.
she had seen I was over in Saline and that's where she lives. And she said, I want to try it. So she came over, she learned as well. We started playing together. And she said to me one day, we should do something. There's such a need. And we originally were thinking about starting pickleball in the club that our daughters played volleyball in because it was free all day. Now,
Mhm.
that never happened because it was dark and the floors are mushy, and it never happened, but it got the ball rolling. So we started renting space in gyms at Chelsea High School and Saline, and we would run learn to plays and skills and drills. And when I started playing, I was about 6 months in. People started asking me to teach them because I studied the game so hard when I first learned.
Mhm.
So I started coaching like 6 months into playing. And so we just started renting space and running things, and we were collecting emails the whole time we were doing that because we had a dream of building a place someday. We did that for a couple of years, and then we found in 2020 during COVID, a warehouse came on the market that was perfect. And the sizing, we could fit 4 courts in, and there was a little office and a little social space.
Mhm.
We actually opened up in October of 2020, which was unheard of during COVID.
Mhm.
We were sort of like a fight club where people would say, I go and play pickleball, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want the word to get out because it was hard to get in the groups because we
Mhm.
were capping it at 18 with only 4 courts. So
Sure.
people were scrambling to get in. And so 9 months into renting that space, the other side opened up. So we took over the other side, added 4. We had DIY'd it too. We had a huge group of volunteers that came and helped pour paint and smooth it over. And then we took over the other side. So we had 8 courts. And even from the day we opened, we were full.
Mhm.
Day one, we were full. As soon as we opened 8 courts, we were full. So we were always just sort of out there gathering emails and sending out newsletters about us. But we really couldn't advertise because it was COVID.
Mhm.
And we never had any outbreak, we were real proud of that. We had great ventilation in that old
Mhm.
dingy warehouse.
Mhm.
So that whole time that we were running that, it was just Christy and I was doing a lot of coaching. She was doing she's very computer, she's savvy. And so we were a really good team. And we started just tucking that money away and planning the big facility. So we found 25 investors who all invested. And by December 1st, 2023, we opened our doors here at Wolverine.
And what's Wolverine like now? How many courts do you have? Tell us about the amenities you have there.
So we have 12 courts that all have the compressed rubber underneath the top surface. So they're really great on your joints.
Mhm.
And we have outdoors, we have 6 sand volleyball courts. We have 6 bocce ball courts. We have a tap wall, self-pour tap wall, pour my beer, and a beer garden outside. So
Locker rooms
yep,
available?
locker rooms, pro shop. We were the very first club ever to be sponsored by Selkirk.
Mhm. Leslie, did you ever think you would be a recreation gym owner when you first started playing pickleball?
No, I never imagined it in a million years. When my girls were young, I was kind of a stay-at-home mom, but I also had my own business, as Christy did too. She had her own home business. So we both knew business. I had a traveling pony party because we had a horse farm at the time. And so I used to load up ponies and horses and goats and llamas and take them all to birthday parties. And my kids would travel along with me. So it was a good experience in business.
So how many members do you have? How many people do you have playing at your facility, if you know, in a week or in a day? What's that like?
We're full all day, every day, 7 days a week. We open at 7 a.m. and we close at 11 p.m. And for the most part, all 12 courts are full all the time. We'll have a little gap here and there from like 3 to 5. But other than that, we're pretty jam-packed all the time. And we have a wait list for membership. So we don't, when people want to be a member, we don't just let everybody be a member because we don't want to be that exclusive that non-members can't play. We always leave room for non-members so that when people come in from out of town, they can come and play.
Do you have open gym time, or is pretty much everything league now?
So we don't really, we do open play sessions, but they're not your typical open play sessions. From the very beginning, we did a skill-based open play. So we divide everybody into like 2-5 to 3-0, 3-0 to 3-2-5, 3-2-5 to 3-5, 3-5 to 3-7-5, 3-7-5 to 4-0, and so on.
Talk a little bit about coaching, and what's the percentage of people you think that play pickleball that seek out clinics and coaching?
So we have probably more people here. We're well known as the club to come and learn get coaching at it. We have a very robust coaching, just our whole, we have 2 to 4 courts full all the time, all day long of coaching. And so people do drive really far to come and be coached here. Jake Fredrickson is our head pro. And then we have probably 15 other coaches. Some do it almost full time. And then some just do, learn to plays and corporate parties and stuff like that. But we're real proud of that. We really do a lot of coaching here.
And Leslie, you remind me a lot of Jesse Stipkak in DeWitt Township, as it seems like so many people who run gyms like yourself are just big promoters of the game. Why is that? And is that fun for you?
It is fun for me. So when I first started playing, I actually applied to be an ambassador and became an ambassador way back in the day and went on these ambassador retreats down in Port St. Lucie back when Club Med still existed down in Port St. Lucie. And that's where I actually originally met Ashley and Tim Fort Reserve. They were kind of just starting out at that time, and they introduced themselves to me. And so it was a great place to meet all these new reps for paddle companies and Tim and Ashley. And so I came back and told Christy, about Court Reserve, and she called them right away. And we've been with Court Reserve ever since. And so I loved going down and learning so much about it and coming back and being an ambassador. I was teaching people how to play all the time and getting more and more people into the game.
My wife and I travel a lot, and I made the mistake one time. I won't do this again. We were in the Virgin Islands, and Jesse had told me, take your paddle wherever you go. I did not take it. There were courts all over St. John and St. Thomas, and that leads me to the places you've gone to. What places have impressed you the most, facilities wise, here in the state of Michigan and other places you've been to?
So in the state of Michigan, of course, I have to say my own place is the best, right? So, but I've always been very impressed with Belknap Park. I do the Beer City Open every summer, and that's one of my favorite places to play. I used to travel a lot and go around to a lot of different facilities. Of course, now I tend to, use my own home courts. But further than that, I'd say I've gone down to the US Open and played in Naples. They have a lot of courts there. That's super fun to play there. Worldwide, my favorite is Turks and Caicos. I go there 3 to 4 times a year and coach.
Mhm.
I'm part of the Empower team, which is Cassandra Gerke's company. And we do these retreats in Cancun, Turks and Caicos, Punta Cana, Costa Rica, all over the world.
Leslie, it still seems like pickleball is still exploding, if you will, although you don't hear or see from the media or in communications how it's talked a lot, but it's still growing, isn't it?
It is still growing. Yeah. I think we teach probably over 100 people a month how to play.
Mhm.
That's a lot of people learning just in our facility alone.
All right, tournament wise, or playing
Mhm.
against some real competitive people, what was your welcome to the big time moment? Do you recall that?
I would say, I mean, probably winning my first 4 or 5. I was playing with Bob Trout, who you probably know.
Mhm.
We were over in Fort Wayne, I think. And that was really fun because I think that was one of my first 4 or 5. I don't play a lot of tournaments anymore. I do like to go down to the open and play 1 or 2 a year, but I have more joy now because I did it for 10 years and it kind of ran its course and I'm getting older, so it's harder to keep up with
Mhm.
everybody. And most of the people I play with are young. They can run
Mhm.
circles around me. So
Leslie, let's talk a little bit about etiquette. And this is something I want to start doing more on the show. What are some things that people don't think about that they should more when it comes to etiquette? What behavior should they have more? What are we missing sometimes that we should be more aware of just to make the game more friendly for folks?
Yeah, so I mean, we have big etiquette posters, believe it or not, on our walls here because it is something that when they first start playing, they don't really know the etiquette, and so typically you'll get people running behind the courts chasing their ball, and I think they're doing that just because they're trying to keep not disturb that, but it's so dangerous to run back there because people throw lobs up and we've seen
Mhm.
people collide. So, that kind of thing. Definitely, I try to tell people I've had to have talks with people when they're playing with other people and they start coaching them. People don't want to be coached by someone at the same level.
Mhm.
If I'm playing in a group and I see something with somebody, sometimes I'll say, do you want a quick tip? And that's usually after the session, like one thing that I see, and,
Mhm.
almost always I have had a couple, young boys go, no. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah, that's totally fine. But, I always ask, do you want one tip?
Mhm.
But if people get coached from someone at the same level of them, most people don't like that. Some people don't mind, but some people don't like it. So sometimes I have to tell people, come in and start telling people what to do. Can't do that. So
What's your coaching style and what should folks look for? Because I know some folks like to be driven hard. Some people like an arm around their shoulder. What's your style and how does a person find a coach that'll fit them?
So I don't do as much I only have a few people I coach still, because I've got such a big team and I want them to have dibs on all the members and make their living. But my strategy, I really love doing strategy. So
Hmm.
my favorite type of lesson is 3 and a coach, or 4 and a coach, and playing in with them or watching 4 people play and kind of say, oh, now why did you drive that ball cross court so hard? Because do you know you just lit up your partner?
Mhm.
Things like that, and pointing out to them that they go, oh, I never thought of that. So that's kind of my favorite type. I wouldn't say I'm like a hard driving type. I don't really have a style. I sort of see what everybody's like. Some people do need a little bit more hand holding and need more encouragement. Other people, you can get right to the point. So,
Final question for you. The one thing that I've learned is when I was playing, let's say, I was getting a little frustrated because the shots weren't going where I want them to go. When you play basketball, you practice your free throws, you practice your left-handed, right-handed layups, you practice whatever shooting off the dribble or whatnot. But I found when I started drilling, give me 10 balls hit to me so I can hit it down the right sideline, the left sideline, so I can dink either side. That's really important. And I've heard other people say the same thing. Do you agree?
yeah, I would. And I mean, I think a ball machine is really great too for improving your game. And I do think that repetition is what gets you there for sure.
All right. Well, we've been talking with Leslie White. She is the owner, co-owner of Wolverine Pickleball down in Ann Arbor. For folks who want to come down and visit Wolverine and play and have a cocktail, how do they do that? Where are you guys located, and where can they find you on the web?
So we right at wolverinepickleball.com, and we are right off of I-94 and Baker exit. So it's very easy access. We're at 235 Meddy Drive, Ann Arbor.
And we want to thank you, Leslie, so much. As a matter of fact, I was talking with Jesse Stipkak, and we are going to get some people. We're going to come down to Wolverine. We're going to book some time to play, have some cocktails, and have some fun. So we look forward to doing that. Again, thank you so much, Leslie. And we want to tell our listeners, once again, we've got some great guests coming up. Make sure you stay tuned. Follow us here at Pickleball Michigan and beyond.
Thanks for listening to Pickleball Michigan and Beyond. Follow us on Facebook and check out our website, pickleballmichiganandbeyond.com.
It's on Reno's Sports Bar and Grill. When you come to Reno's, you better come to play. Dine and have a great time any night or day. It's on, we beat the rest. A great time is on tap. It's on, northeast and west, you'll find us on the map.